What's up guys, on today's video we are going to talk about doing some overlanding modifications. I kind of got tired of dealing with the whole ice situation and coolers, etc., so we decided it was time to add an ARB fridge to this guy. Today we're going to talk about wiring up the fridge and building your own slide. Stay tuned. Alright, so a little bit of a disclaimer here. Normally I'm into building my own stuff and trying to save a buck here and there. And frankly, I looked at some of the refrigerator slides online and thought the prices were obscene. I looked at ARB's refrigerator slide and thought that it was just very chaotic for the price point that you're paying. And I honestly missed a couple eBay spots for a couple of the ARB slides, you know, they get in a reasonable price point. So I decided to build my own. What I decided to do was save as much weight as possible, so I figured I would frame this out of aluminum. This is some 3" by 1" by 8" aluminum extrusion. So we ordered the aluminum. I ordered some drawer slides from McMaster. They showed up, and now I'm ready to build this bad boy. So pretty simple. Let's get after it. Alright, so unfortunately I don't TIG weld. Luckily a good friend of mine who lives up the street does TIG weld. So I just cut all these pieces out, took them over, showed him what was going on, and I just had him glue them together. So this is just a very simple two-piece deal. This is the base. It's going to bolt into the vehicle, something like that. And then this piece is the refrigerator slide itself. The refrigerator sits on these little platforms here. The slides will bolt to the inside here, bolt to the inside of the tray there, and then we will have a working slide. I am just mounting the frame to the truck. There's some cross members underneath the vehicle that I needed to make sure to pass because I'm using really short hardware. So see, this is what I've got here. These are an M6. I got these two front holes set up, or the ones on the back anyway, but what you can see is here is a pilot, and then the other pilot hole here. So we'll transfer those to the bed and then we'll drill them out to size. Okay, so what I'm doing right here is I put the mounting hardware in here and screwed it down because the hinge is basically going to sit on it. Both ends, I just need to make sure that the relationship is proper in the frame here. I'm getting ready to drill the upper slide to the drawer slide piece. And what I did is I used these pieces of scrap to push this upper angle iron just enough to clear the hinge. As you can see, this is just not quite, so that gives me a nice little clearance. Run this flush to the end of the deal here and we'll drill it. We'll be good to go. After a little bit of a hardware debacle, I was able to get this thing bolted in. Looks something like that. Not too bad. It's just got the single lock. Slides out, locks out. Door should stay open. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out, especially for a first go at it. Just kind of trying to be efficient and use the same material, be cost effective, I guess. Didn't go exactly to plan. Like I said, I had a little bit of a hardware problem and a little bit of a fitment issue because it's like some of the bows underneath the floor made it kind of a pain to get my bolts to hit right. But all in all, I am pretty stoked about the way this turned out. I wanted it to keep it under about half of the bed. I plan maybe like putting a drawer. I still need to have room for some other cargo and things in here. On this side, it was really tight. That rear nut was kind of a bear to get in. But I mean, that's that as far as that goes. All right, so the next little thing I want to talk about is getting this thing wired up into the truck. Typically, you don't really want to be running these on a cigarette lighter adapter because a lot of times it's not built for that kind of output. This machine will pull down roughly like 12 amps, maybe 12 amps plus. So what I ended up doing is, you can see I've got the stereo amp right there. I basically piggybacked a power source off of my amp feed. And what originally I had done was, this is your ARB plug, the one that would come stock with the refrigerator here. What happens is, this guy comes apart like this, and originally what I had is, you can see those are just a spade. So if you wanted to, you can just run a spade connection, a fuse spade connection to that, and then you have a nice positive lead to hook onto there. Anyway, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So the Anderson pull plugs are getting pretty popular. Okay, so what I did was, this is an Alibaba cord. All right, you just pull it off eBay. I clipped a cigarette lighter end off of this and then just re-terminated it with this Anderson pull plug. these lock positively together. There's a lock that will actually pin these together. So let me crawl up here and show you where this goes. So like I said, I just pulled this off of my power source for the amplifier. This is where we go. I'm just piggybacking off the back of the amplifier right here. I'm fused into a 15 amp fuse. I'm just gang grounded to the car. Very simple. Okay, that about sums it up. Here we have the refrigerator mounted, the slides mounted, everything's all done. What I ended up doing here is instead of using the strap, I just used the bolt holes that ARB provided, 2 in the front and 2 in the rear. You can see what I did with the plug in here, just plugs in the back, and then I routed up over along the fireball and then back over to the stereo where we talked about before. So all in all, I'm pretty well happy with the way this turned out. I could have did things a little bit differently. Like I said, I had a little bit of a hardware debacle and some fitment issues with this, so just some notes if I wanted to do it again. I think I would try to build this in a manner where it was removable as a module. As it is now, it has to come apart to come out of the truck. Overall, I'm pretty stoked. It's going to be awesome, and just something to show you guys if you wanted to do something like this yourself. Hope you pulled something away from this. Really appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. Peace.
That wraps up another episode of Snale Racing.
Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe.